What is up, guys? What's going on? It's Chunk. I'm going to be doing some 3D modeling today. What's up, guys? What's going on? Chunks 3D. Going to be making some 3D models. I'm going to be doing some stuff in CAD. We are working in Fusion 360, and I have I'm showing my screen here. I have a client that wanted a copy of this building here. They make these buildings. Let me the webpage here. So they make these buildings. They're corrugated metal sort of shed warehouse thingamabobbers, airplane warehouses possibly. I'm not sure. Um, they want me to make it in 3D so that it can be 3D printed. Now, their website has a 3D render viewer thing, and unfortunately, my HTML skills aren't that great. So when it comes to seeing if there's any way of me extracting the render that's already there that's can be manipulated, I don't know how. So that's something that well, I won't worry about trying to make just because I know I can do this, and this is what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I hope you bear with me. Let me pull up my Twitch, make sure that I'm watching my chat. But anyways, how is everybody? Good morning, Vietnam. Ba, ba, ba. I just might as well. So I'm currently streaming on not only Twitch, but I'm on YouTube as well. So I'm gonna pull up that chat and make sure I'm keeping an eye on that as well. Give me just 1 second. My headphones even on? I think so. I mean, you can hear my mic. That's all that matters. So we're good. I forgot that I added a Twitch thing where Twitch viewers can bonk the screen. So there's many games that you can play on PC on screen, which is cool. Do pop out chat here. Cool. I got the Twitch. I got the YouTubes. So let's go. So as I mentioned, we are working on this CAD model for this building. I have already gotten quite a ways into it. And I'll show you what I've done here. Hide all this. This is the tedious part, the stuff that, I figured I was like, since I'm doing all this little stuff, might as well live stream it. It's going to be a minute. So what I've done is using their model viewer. Mind you, the model viewer showed the exact model that they wanted with the same doors and everything. You can individually select those objects on the 3D model viewer that they have, and it'll tell you the dimensions of the object. For example, that is a 12 by 12 roll-up door. The door is 36 by 80. The windows are 36 by 36. So we have the base numbers for what they wanted on those general objects. Now, the other things that I need to do is get the actual width and length and height of the building. I was able to do that again using that 3D like a viewer and one of their blueprints that they submitted to me. Their blueprints just literally shows just the floor plan sketch, which actually gave me the perfect width and length. It did not give me height. So then I had to go back and look at the building itself and found out that on their model viewer it says that their building is 14 feet tall. So I use the 14 foot as the apex, the very tippy top, and then model everything accordingly. So we got that. We got the roof pitch correct. We got everything going on. And now, right now, I'm adding the corrugated sort of effect on the outer walls. I sent them an email asking if they wanted me to do the interior as well. The interior of the building, I'll show you right now in their viewer here. Why did I click Microsoft? No, I don't want that. You can see here, if we're looking at the interior, it has support beams every, I would say 40 inches. If the window down here is 36 by 36, then it's possible that this is 40 inches. So every 40 inches or so. So I will most likely, if that's what they want, again, I reached out to them to, I'm waiting on a response. I will have to figure out the sizing of these beams. Now, the thing is, those beams automatically get populated into this 3D viewing. So as far as like knowing the exact like size of this, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'll have to like count however many triangles there are, divide that by length and width, and all sorts of little doodads, little tricks to try to get the sizing correct. So yeah, that's what we're working on. I believe the model that they want me to make, they want to use as a display prop. So when they go to shows, conferences, whatever, and they can have this on display to show the building that they can potentially make for their clients. Of course, the mini scale model isn't going to be exact, but it will be close, and it'll be 3D printed by yours truly. When it comes to sizing of this model, I reached out to them to ask them how big or how small they want it, because that'll determine how I'm going to print it. Now, my largest 3D printer that I have has a print width of 15 inches. So if I was to print this in one piece, I can actually print the walls like this, 15 inches, and then print the roof possibly in two pieces, or even just the roof by itself on the plate with some support underneath that. Have that separate piece, glue that together, and then also all those supports that are going to be in here, I can print those laying flat one at a time or two at a time, or however many I can fit on the build plate, and then just manually come in here and glue them in, which I think is going to be the way to go. So there's not that much support on the interior. Support, with 3D printing, support material takes up A, material, and B, it increases print time. Now, being that for my 3D printing fees, I charge by print time and material usage, any way to mitigate the amount of supports needed for the object will greatly reduce the final cost for the clients. That and removing supports is a pain. So that's less work for me too as well. So it makes things easier. So just a little bit of, food for thought as you're trying to figure things out. So that's what we're doing here. So right now I'm adding the corrugatedness to both the front and the back of the building. I've already added it on the left and right sides and the roof. I got the So here's a little trick. If I still have the page up. Uh, I don't, but I'll pull up the history here. Oh, and we are looking at, it wasn't Timu. Corrugated. Mm. Boom. Corrugated roof panels. So these are at Lowe's. And I was looking at the 3D render, 3D model that they're viewing, and I was like, crud, this doesn't give me dimensions on that, right? You can see it. So I need to add this sort of corrugated texture to the outside of the whole building. It doesn't say it in the description on the right hand side. It doesn't say it anywhere. So what I did is I just literally, because with the power of the internet, Google search, found Lowe's has corrugated roof building panels or ribbed steel roof panels, and they give you the dimensions, but they also give you like the exact like styling of it and sizing. So usually this right here, this is used like so you can plan ahead and know you're going to do your cuts, because everything when it comes to building supplies and making things, everything needs to be exact, right? So you're going to get a 2x4, and of course some 2x4s aren't created equal, so they're not exactly 2x4, but that's another topic for another day. But a lot of these building materials are made in the same way, so that when you are using them to make your final product, you know exactly how big or how small it's going to be, and it can help plan those cuts, help align seams, and go off of floor plans that were pre-built by somebody else outside in the office world, right? So an architect, they're not out there actually like measuring stuff with a tape measure and building things on the floor with the carpenters and stuff. No, they're just in an office drawing things out mathematically because they know that certain objects are certain sizes, yada, yada, yada. So we have this here. This tells me that each board, 36 inches. The pitch of each bump, the apex is 9 inches exactly, and it's 3/4 of an inch tall. So I'll use those dimensions to help me come up with the sketches that I use to create these. Oops. No, what did I do? Where is everything? Okay. Boom, baby. You can see here, I went through, I got that corrugated dimensions from that site, put in the values, extruded, copied, duplicated, repeated, uh, what is it? Flirping, warping. I made copies. After I duplicating everything, I went ahead and fused them to the existing like base that I had already kind of sketched out. And now we have this. So I did that to the walls as well, because the walls are also corrugated, right? So I still have to do the front and the back side. Now, for visibility's sake, right? Just so my computer doesn't explode. Look at that. Can't even see. That's like when you have like too many too much topology in a those like a 3D model, and they're like, are you gonna use it for a video game? And it's like you can't use this for a video game. Like it has too much detail. The topology and the number of pixels and triangles and stuff on an object make the size of the object larger. The larger the object size, with the more detail, the more like computing power it takes to render said object. So if something like this was in a video game, it would take a bit to load in the background especially if it's just the background. That's why when see video games, they have like the the flat image of what it should look like, right? And I mean, if you don't care, like it's just a picture, then it's just a picture, it's just a drawing on a flat surface, and that's to mitigate things like this. I know over the years, as technology gets more advanced, they've been working on Unreal Engine 5 and figuring out ways to add more triangles without adding the triangles. Like it's all a big thing, but that sort of information helps make things like this like highly detailed for the future. Just imagine you go in a video game and like you can actually see shading on each individual like panel, each individual little blip. Like that's big gazoogas right there. So let me pull this print off my 3D printer and I'll start another one. I'll actually pull up a 3D printer view in the corner. But let me get that started here. BRB. I'm I'm very limited on space here. So why 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 let me open this up, pull it over here. So my aren't you? Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Excuse me. Jeez Louise. Hmm. All right, my bad. I got sidetracked. There was I updating devices, that sort of stuff. Through all the updates, I've been getting a freaking pop up saying that Windows sign in request, and it's like, whoa, hold up, who, who? So I was just trying to get to the bottom of that. Um, what I have here in my hands, I don't like how that's printing. That probably needs force, but we'll leave it as is. So, uh, currently on the printer, one of my older sisters, she had her house TP'd for Christmas. Somebody came and these boys thrashed her house with all her decor, and I think they were friends of the daughter. um, so they scurried off, and in the commotion, they broke some of the lights that stake into the ground. So my sister came up to me and said, "Hey, can you make me more of these? This is the ground stake, and these are the copies that I've been making." So right now on my 3D printer, I'm currently printing some more of these. Let me pull up the printer view here. Bamboo Studio. Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa. Wait. Konnichiwa, watashi no na. Watashi no mai. I'm already forgetting. Watashi no mai. Watashi no naima. I already forgot. Dang it. I used to be able to say, like, hello, my name is. What's what I was about to say? Hello, my name is Chunks 3D, but it's not working. Device. I should populate. Ooh. Looking at the side of the printer, it needs to be cleaned. Let's see. Is that gonna populate? Oh yeah, that's how I did it before. So right now up top we currently have these sticks printing. There we go. Now I remember how I did it. I'm a little tired. I haven't had any caffeine. I woke up and grabbed a soda. So I'm drinking some sangria, um, Mexican soda. Okay, so growing up, every time we went to a taco stand in Mexico, it was either a Mexican Coke, Mexican Pepsi, Mexican Sprite, or this bad boy. And kind of like the twang that this has. My wife doesn't like it. She says it tastes too much like wine. It's soda. Okay, so I can hide the roof. We can bring all these to light. And they're not even long enough. I need them to come all the way up here. So let's go ahead and do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. So extrude. Start clicking on these faces here. Okay. We want it as tall as that. Oh no, that joined everything already. Well, I don't want to undo it. Here's a little tricky do. So if you look on the left side here, this wall body warehouse walls already fused into one. Um, so because they fused into one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my last thing on my timeline. It actually gets cut off because I don't want to show you my full screen. But if I click on my last job that I did on my timeline and I go to edit feature, it allows me to edit what I just did. And I can tell it that instead of join, I want to do a new body. When you select new body, it doesn't do that last fuse. So now if you look on the left side, there's all the body pieces. All the body pieces. So now we're going to go ahead and just fuse these together individually. Actually, no, that's ugly. That's ugly. Let's go back. Edit feature, right? We are going to hit join. What we're going to do is we're going to hide the warehouse walls from the view. That's how you do it. So now these are all fused, and they did not fuse to the warehouse walls because the warehouse walls were not in view. And any object that's not in view does not get manipulated or edited. That's how you freaking do it. So anyways, man, I need some caffeine. I'm like trying to hype myself up on just some sugar. Sugar. uh, this is what I do first thing in the morning when nobody's here. Sugar. Um, Chunks 3D is getting a retail location soon, and I'm gonna have filaments for sale. I already received some of the filaments already. I got cases of plastic, not just for me, but for many people in need, many people that want, and they gonna get, you know, that sort of thing. So we'll do that. I want to text my wife and say, "Can you get me a coffee?" But she doesn't know anything about coffee. She don't like coffee. She likes energy drinks. But we have Celsius here, but they're like mainly for her. I could go for like a Rockstar right now or something. But yeah, so we got the printer going. It's gonna knock out another one of these. I'm printing them one at a time. Now the reason I'm printing these one at a time. Let's see. I have a thing where I can like talk? With the intermission page? No. It's not the starting soon or the be right back. It's not the stream ending. No. Extra widgets. I don't even know what this thing says. What does this setup do? Anyways, I literally just need a toggle. A quick scene that's literally a duplicate live scene. Live scene close up is what I'm gonna call it. Well, no, because literally any changes done to this is gonna, yeah. I don't do anything. So we'll just go in here. So these stakes, the reason I print them one at a time is when you have multiple long standing objects, doesn't matter how much supports and stuff they have at the bottom, what's going to happen is when the tip the printer has to jump in between the objects, there's always going to be a bit of goop on the very tip. And that little bit of plastic, if it cools enough in that small span, can go ahead and knock over the objects and start causing print fails. I have the time. I have the printers. I'll do it one by one at a time. I don't have to worry about, um, worrying about the sizing or the whole like, oh, let's max out the bill plate. Let's get as many as I can. I want to do 50 at a time. I don't need to do that. All right. Rant's over. So let me show you how I am doing this. When I sketched out this design, I made sure that the halfway point on the toppest piece with the highest apex was exactly 9 inches from this one to this one. So now that that piece has been cut in half, right? That's like the starting point, it's the half. I literally duplicate these. So if I come down here and say mirror, it asks you which bodies do you want mirrored, and I'm gonna say all these guys, including this one. And it says, what pane do you want to mirror it against? Well, there's this flat surface here where I cut it. Click on that and boom. And boom, just like that. I'm going to hide the warehouse walls because I don't want the warehouse walls to fuse to right now. And we'll hit OK. We're going to do that until we have about 200 of these or more. So we're going to do it again. Create. Mirror. All these guys. Okay, we'll just select. You hold down shift, right? hold on shift, click on the very top object, and click on the bottom object. It'll highlight everything in between. Now we're going to select the mirror pane that we want it to mirror on. Boom. Every time I join, it gives me like a little error message. Warning, 18 of these did not fuse together. And it's because the only one that needs to fuse is the one that has that split on it. Everything else isn't going to fuse because it's not touching anything. So, that's all right. We just need a mirror. We're just making copies. So again, objects. Over here, I know exactly where the mirrors start because I named the warehouse walls. Everything else beyond that are these little riblets, whatever you want to call them. Ribby-doos. All right, let me see if that's enough for the warehouse walls, and then we're gonna duplicate these. Yeah, so that's plenty. See, that supersedes where we actually need it to be. We can actually delete some of these if we want to, which I am going to do. Find it. This is the part that sucks. All right, so I know it's gonna be close to the end here. If you click on an object, it'll kind of put these little blue lines underneath it. So I can see that there it is. And that's that one, that one, that one. So I'm holding down Control on my keyboard, which is allowing me to individually select the ones that I want. And then Control also allows me to skip over the ones I don't want. So, but right now for this sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop here and hit delete. So, what? 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 I didn't select all of them. I didn't select everything. What are you, stupid? And find the body again. This is that. This is that. That. And that one. We'll delete those. It's normally should say remove, not delete. So I need to find out why it's doing that. Because that's what we want to do. Remove. Little by little, we'll get there. We're getting there. If you like hover the mouse, you can see the highlight move on the objects. So you can find the body that you need. I found these. I can see these. Where are the? Oh! Here we go. Two more. Cool. All right, so we have our texture that we want to apply to the walls. Now, let's get that on the other side before we fuse everything together. So, how are we going to do that, you say? Well, well, what we could do is go down to the sketches and edit this sketch. Ugh. And if we hide that, put a line, we're going to say from here to here. We're going to find that center point because it snaps, pull that down, finish sketch. Now we pull the walls and say split body. We want to split this body. Splitting tool. Well, we just put that that line in that sketch way down here. We want to split the body by that line. See that? Boom. Split it. See that? So now, what we're going to do is we're going to mirror all of those other parts. And we're going to use this as the mirror pane. It's going to do the exact copy on the other side at the exact point we want it to. The reason you have to get that exact middle point is because if you mirror it and it just happens to be off, those objects aren't going to be touching the opposite wall. So I'm going to be go ahead and doing that right now. So, of course, create, mirror, select the body that we want to start. So holding down shift, scrolling all the way up, all the way up. There. That has all of them selected. Our mirror pane, you can see here, we're selecting the mirror pane that we want. We're going to say we want it to be mirrored based on that wall right there. And you can see it already projects them to the other side. Now, I go back down over here on this side to show our objects that we have. We can bring out the other warehouse walls and choose to join. Hit OK. Now, that's going to fully join them, should fully join them to this wall. If it doesn't, we'll manually do it. Looks like it didn't do it. So it either doesn't because it's not touching, but it should. Is there an overlap? No, there's an overlap. They should be fused together. So it's probably just because of the sheer number of objects. But I need to put this on. Okay, so I think because of the sheer number, the sheer volume of objects that we're trying to fuse together, that's why I didn't actually fuse them. We're gonna do it al manual. So just hit combine. We know all of the objects that are visible right now. We want to fuse them together. So I'm just gonna. I know the primary is the walls, named set walls. I'll click on that, hold down shift, scroll down a little bit, select those and say, okay, go ahead and fuse those together. Scroll back up to where it says the walls, click on the walls and say, combine. Scroll down a little bit, holding down shift, click where I want it to stop, and we'll say, go ahead and fuse those. Why is it not? Total bodies. Okay, let's do it again. Sometimes it needs to be specific. You gotta click on thingy do's. Combine. Warehouse walls. Total body. Scroll down. Hold on. Shift. You do. I think I know what's going on. Gosh dang it. I want to combine this with these. Just for the love of God, just... I gotta find... I know what I'm gonna do. Use the warehouse walls together. Now they are one. Because what was happening is I was selecting like the object that said warehouse walls, but it could have been the one on this side. And I'm trying to fuse the one on this side with these things on this side. That's not working because they're not connected. So now they are all connected. So now if I go here, now we're getting somewhere. But Chunk, what about the corrugated walls that are going beyond the openings, such as the doors and stuff? I'll show you what we're going to do in a second. Show you what we're going to do in just 1 second. Boom. See that? That's how we do it. So now, if I go here and create sketch on the inside of this, and what I'm going to do is hide the warehouse body. Going to click here. I'm going to click here. Well, what I want to do is, yeah. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait. So it comes out all the way to the very edge. That's fine because I'm going to cut it. Yeah, it does stop at this edge. Okay. Where are we? I had to like have a little brain fart as to why it was coming out like this. So we'll grab it like this, grab it like that. We're gonna make a bogus cutout stencil thing object. Just because we want to cut out all of this negative space that's beyond the actual 3D model itself. So we go back, show the warehouse walls. We can grab this. We're going to extrude it, and we're just going to use that to cut everything. And because the sketch was on the inside, I'm going to hit direction symmetric. And boom, it cuts it all the way across. Now, the reason I didn't use the cut tool, here's another more thing, Bob's. Remember how I had like 200 and some individual pieces? And then I fused them to get rid of all that on the freaking body panel. Well, now, if I was to have used the cut tool after fusing them, it's going to cut all these and make 200 and something individual pieces that need to get removed. An extrusion completely removes the pieces that get extruded. And that's all we need. So there is that. So that side's cleaned up. Now let's do this side. Was that last sketch based on the door? Yes, it was. Let's edit that sketch one more again. Because the sketch itself, it only highlights the main body. See that there? But we want to cut out the door. We're just gonna put a line here to connect that. So finish. It's not gonna affect because every time you go back to edit a sketch, it actually reverts the timeline just ever so slightly. It goes back in time, and then it redoes what you just did. So we didn't make any changes to this top shape, so it doesn't really need to like do the object, the cut that we just did. We know it's going to be good, but now we can come in here and cut this. There is said opening. Hide the sketch. We have our surface on the outside. Now, the next thing for me to do on this freaking billion pixel object is I need to start working on roll-up doors, windows, and doors. That's just a little time consuming. So this took me, I sat down like at 7:15-ish. No, a little earlier than that. So it's been a minute. Wifey was asleep. She woke up at 7. So I started this before that. I started like at 6. Anyways, things take time. Well, so good thing about doing stuff like this and generating 3D models is once you have the 3D model, you can export them into rendering software. You can add surface textures and colors and lighting and all that stuff to make it look legit. Which we might do on this because they didn't tell me to sign an NDA on any of this information. Yup. So, looking back at this sketch here, their door is very generic. It's a little doorknob. So we're going to model a little doorknob. So now, let's Google door knob size. We can easily see that said peoples have already made. Doorknob dimensions and drawings. We want something more accurate. So we'll go with this guy. So 2 5/8 or 67 millimeters. Create sketch. We're gonna create a sketch on that door. We can hide the warehouse walls on the roof. Looking at the door. 62. Oh, no, it's in inches. What was it? 2 5/8. 5/8 in yes. 0.65. Two 2.625. Well, now again, I don't know this off the top of my head, so doorknob position on door. Doorknob placement typically is 34 to 48 inches from the finished door, with 36 inches being the common standard for ergonomic comfort. Positioned on the leading edge, the inside wall of the door. Vertical placement usually slightly below the door's midpoint. The horizontal placement is near the edge for easier operation on swinging doors. And wham bam, somebody's got the drawing here. So it looks like push and pull bar. We're looking for Exterior doors, door hardware location. We are looking for the midpoint. A lot on this website. Yeah. Common questions, doors. Why interior doors swing inward into rooms? We're looking for an exterior. Right? Let me go back. Doorknob position on exterior door. I'm just gonna write that down. So an exterior door, the doorknob is typically centered on the door's vertical frame and installed 36 inches from the finished floor, though codes allow a range of 34 to 48 inches for accessibility. We'll go with 36. That's fine. So we can go here and say 36 inches. So I was a few inches off. We'll go ahead and move this, grab it, pull it there. How many inches would you say the doorknob is from the freaking Rippy-Doos? It's relatively close. I think that might be pretty good. So we'll do that. Now the door knob might be smaller. So we'll bring that in here. And then we'll do another thing for behind the knob here. All right. Something like that. We'll go back to the knob sizes. So if that's 2.58, that's just 2 inches. So this, two. One. And then we'll start extruding. Boom, boom, boom. We will pull that up 0.25. And then we'll go back to the sketch and we'll say, let's extrude that one. Let me see. It's about 2.5. So we'll extrude it 2.5. Two sides. We'll bring all that up and out. And then we'll add a tapered angle. Let's take a look, see what this looks like. -1, -10. We'll leave it at 0. And then we'll do that last extrusion here. Hide. There's our doorknob on our door. So it's not crazy fancy. It serves its purpose. It's just an edit feature. You know, when I do 3D print this, I'll probably print that door laying flat just to get the knob right. But it all just depends on if that's even big enough to print once I export it. If not, I'm gonna make the knob a generic, just kind of like cylinder, just to show that there is a knob there without actually having a door, you know? So we'll rename that. Oh, look at the sketch, look at the body. Rename door. Hide the door. Don't need to see it no more. Let's take a look at the window. We'll rename it window. Create sketch. We can hide everything else. None of that matters. Now let's go back to their what is on this page? Their viewing thing. Their window pane is one of those sliding ones. See that? It's got the one window on the outside, the one on the inside. It slides up. We need to try to replicate that. So let's see here. Now, there's a little hack. We'll try it out right now. Insert canvas from my computer. I mean, I took a screenshot. Want it here. Oh, my canvases are hidden. And this is just to get the general sort of size for it, right? That's good for me. So now, create sketch on here. I don't care about the center point. Bring it back over here. We'll look at this corner here, measure it down. It's about 2 1/4. That's 1. So this is what we'll do. About 1 inch for that initial border. And then we'll bring it in one more time. 1 inch for the secondary. Find the midpoint. Midpoint is there. And then it extends that by 0.5. Bring that, slide it across. Get rid of this. Right. We have our outside border. What's that? We have our inside border, which is actually part of the window already. So that in inch mark. That's right. Let's draw it 1 inch. And then midpoint. Mind you, it's a little crooked on that screenshot. We'll do another inch. So now we can hide the canvas because Let's do the canvas on it. We'll trim this. We don't need those extra lines. And we need a midpoint on this guy. And a midpoint on this one. So we'll go to midpoint here. It's here. Straight across. And the same thing up here. Midpoint. Bring that across. 25. Cube. 1 inch. Bring it across. This. Yeah. Nice. I'm just doing a live stream. You know, working. Doing 3 things. Eating breakfast burritos. Nobody watches my content anyways.
But you still post it.
Nobody watches it. Huh?
Like, oh wow, this guy about everything I need.
Look at this loser. According to AI and my wife, I am the guy.
According to my wife and then
Trying to think what's the best way to cut the window. There's gnats in this house. I think I got it. I think I know what I'm gonna do. There's there's our overlap. There's our window, and there's a frame that holds it. Now the only thing that's important is the outside, not the inside. So now I can actually get this, use it all together in one piece, because the window don't need to move. Let's show all these. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw this actual window around where all the other ones need to go. Two more to go. All right, so we have our doors, we have our windows. All we need to do is edit this freaking roll door. We'll do that now. So let's look at roll-up door. Roll-up door curtain, right? Roll-up door, certain dimensions depend on application. Industrial PVC strips or solid metal fabric, but generally the curtain width needs to be wider than the opening, often 6 to 12 inches total for overlap and full coverage. While height covers the opening plus hardware allowance, the common strip widths range from 6 to 12 inches, thickness varying by temperature usage. Standard sizes exist, but custom dimensions are up to 30 by 30. We'll say a strip width is 12 inches, because this is a 12 by 12. With that being said, let's edit the sketch. There's 12 inches right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little cube. We'll make that cube cut in 0.25. And then we'll bring this up. Not even that much. We'll do, gosh, 0.15 sounds good. No, 0.5. No, less than that. 0.1. So there's our initial cutout. We'll mark that every 12 inches. 12 inches on the center. I keep forgetting to do this. Punch in the values, click with the mouse. Instead of slamming enter. Oops, 12. And that should be 12 there. Gosh, just for visibility's sake, I think I should make it bigger. Bigger. 0.2. 0.4. It's 0.25. Yep. Let's do that 12 times. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is, once I'm done creating all of these divots on the sketch, I'm actually gonna extrude it straight across and cut those features into both roll-up doors. Then the doors will be done. Because that's all we need is a visual cue to say that these blocks are no longer blocks, they're doors. Any questions? Freaking David Pumpkins. I'm Chunks 3D, man. And you are my own thing. Any questions? We're getting there. Ooh, last one. See, this takes a little time and a lot of patience. Don't you mean patience? No? Makes sense. There's our roll-up doors. Rename. And there is the exterior of the warehouse done. So we have the door, we have all the corrugatedness, we have the windows, we have the door with the doorknob. All of this is ready to go pretty much. Now the customer wants to hopefully showcase the texture detail and stuff in the 3D print. Now it all just depends on the size. What I'll do is file, export, warehouse. Spell today. Warehousing. Save it to my desktop or my 3D file folder. 3D print data. 3D prints and save. So now, if I open up Reality Print, give it a second to warm up. skip that for now. Ender 5 max. Pull up the file that I just saved. Undrag it over here. Scale down the bitrate. We'll split into objects. Oh, don't tell me it's gonna split all the outside walls. It shouldn't. Just imagine it split all those freaking. Still thinking. So, as I mentioned earlier, just like with video games, right? The lower the triangle count, the faster it loads. The triangle count on this bad boy gotta be pretty up there. Volume 393,443 mm cubed. So, open it again. Why does it not want to split them into objects? But I can split it to parts. Interesting. So it is still acting out. So I think no, not Batman Studio. Still gotta be in Creative Print. I'm gonna split it into parts, move the parts around, or just delete it. Delete the parts. Because I mainly want to see the walls, right? So coming in here, getting this model, shrinking it down, split to parts. Literally do this. Just, you know what? Let's move this. Yeah. I need this. I only want the outside walls, which is object number 6. All right. Let's add support, normal, slice. Let's see what happens. It does appear to have the corrugated effect still captured in the 3D print. You can see it does capture the little bumps, which is perfect. That's what the customer most likely wants, and that's what we can go for. Now, when it comes to printing it like this, I might still leave all the doors and everything intact, printed, and then print the roof separately, glue the roof on with all the interior thingamabobs, if that's what they want. If not, what I can do is just to hold everything together. I could print it with lighting infill, make it one solid object on the inside. It all depends on what the customer wants. But that's what we got going on for today. So now that I know that it's gonna capture the detail, all that hard work, that painstaking freaking hour, 2 hour copy and paste, duplicate and duplicate and duplicate, we're good. We're set. So again, I'll reach out to the client, see where they want to go from here. Screenshot for them. And in the meantime, I thank you guys all for stopping by the stream. Wasn't too long of a stream. It was just a little doodad, little thingamabob, little what's who's it.